Can you hear me now, everybody? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can everybody hear me now? Waiting for that somebody to let me know if they can hear me talking or not. God bless the iPhones. Wonderful piece of Apple product that has deteriorated over time as we've gotten more and more progressed as a society. That's the thing, is I don't even know. It's so crazy that YouTube is really trying to push all this short form phone content, but they really don't give you a lot of controls on the back end to set things up. So if anyone would like to comment down below if they can hear me, that would be wonderful. Please let me know if you can hear me down below. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? We got no money fishing. I hear you. Sweet, 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 sweet. Make sure we get everybody back. Yes, I got a phone call, and when you get a phone call while you're live streaming off of a phone, it just destroys the freaking live stream, which is why I usually use a setup and I'm in a studio and I don't do this whole phone thing because phones are just retarded. So anyway, I'm going to be talking about this here on a live stream versus just making a clean video because I just feel it's a little bit more natural for me, at least. A lot of things happen with Facing Sonar drama this week, which has gotten way out of control, in my opinion. So because of my show and being a co-host on another show, I get to talk to a lot of people, get a lot of access, and a lot of things happen this week that's really gotten me flustered with the fishing industry because I feel like it's repeating an issue that we're seeing in other niches and also just in culture in general, which is witch hunting on social media. And it's the people that are doing it also that's kind of a little bit of aggravating. So this week, you know, we have Wheeler King talking about Garmin potentially either trying to sponsor, bribe, whatever you will, Bassmaster, and that whole fallout. Comment section, of course, with all that stuff, social media, about how Bassmaster's the devil and all that stuff. Technology is pure evil. And then you have Bass Blaster dropping an interesting thing showing about how the separation of people that win with scope and without live scope. And of course, that creates a huge firestorm of drama. People saying like, yeah, just everyone should just quit using live scope, blah, 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 you know, the whole shindig. And I had a parent talk to me about how their kid and a friend went out fishing and they posted a picture of something that they caught. Just fun fishing, just those two. It's like a young kid, like middle school and like freshman in high school. And they got berated online for catching these fish in practice, whatever, just fun fishing, not even tournament practice, whatever, just fun fishing. But they used live scope. And a bunch of people online, spoiler, were shitting on them. Just crazy stuff for just using the scope. And then a conversation that was private. I had a tournament director talk about how he wants to go with no scope next year. Perfectly fine. God bless you. It's your organization. Do what you want to do. But in the group of us that came up, it's like, well, hopefully you have good attendance because, you know, people that like scope, they might not show up. And his certain words were, we just need to figure out a way to either mandate or force these people to come to the events. And all this in 1 week is just kind of is frustrating because this is so Orwellian, the time that we live in. When you have all these people that are this radicalized on one side of the fishing aisle, let's just say. And these are the same people that were against the hashtag Me Too movement, where if you go on a bad date, somebody can just say that online and your career is ruined. Or if you misgendered somebody or used the wrong pronouns, they would come after your business, try to get you fired, all that crap. And we see these cyclical cycles online where you get these social media mobs together and they're never satisfied. And at one point, I thought what we needed was just two organizations, one with LiveScope, one without, and you just choose your own adventure. You want to eat at Chick-fil-A, go eat at Chick-fil-A. If you don't like Chick-fil-A, go to the hamburger restaurant and just be done with it. America, let capitalism, democracy win, all that crap. And I realize now that that can't happen because for a lot of people, that's not enough. And it's getting to the point where they are so radicalized, they're losing the message here. If you want limitations on technology and all other stuff, that's great. But when you're bullying, intimidating, humiliating children just for fun fishing, and if your thought process is not only do we have to get rid of forward-facing sonar, but then I need to somehow mandate or use the government to force you to come to these tournaments, you were the same people that were against people boycotting Chick-fil-A and all this other stuff. So it's crazy how I guess each group of people will have their own social media justice warrior thing they have to get behind, which is just fascinating that it's kind of devolving into that. When I think there's a very good argument to be made about limitations on forward-facing sonar, things like that. Definitely a very, very valid conversation that has to be had there. But I think that gets lost in the weeds, just like in politics, when you get basically purple-haired freaks online basically saying every kid that uses forward-facing sonar is basically a Nazi and pure evil. He doesn't know how to fish. And then you have some people online being like, not only do we need to take it away from you, but if you have a boat, we're going to force you to come to our tournaments. What in the fuck is going on in the fishing industry that we're going that route? Because that to me is absolutely just wild. And I don't know what the solution is, because if we've seen anything through history with these woke mobs, and that's basically what we're dealing with right now, is a mob, a social media mob in the fishing world. They will never be satisfied. Even if you give them everything they want, they'll keep pushing, because that's what's happened over and over and over again on social media. It's how all these mobs work. And so if Bassmaster comes out and says you're not allowed to use it, then they're going to be mad at Major League Fishing. And then if Major League Fishing outlaws it, well, then they're going to go after the state legislator. And then they're just going to bully and belittle you online, because that's already what's happening right now. So I think what has to happen, I guess, is let's just be a little bit students of history here. And if you're a business, you got to stand up to them and just say, like, this is just what we're going to do, be damned. Now, you could be like, okay, true, we could do that. And then what would happen? Well, I guess there's a couple of things that happen. One would be that if businesses stand up to them and just say, like, no, this is what we're going to do, and be damned, you could lose business. It could crash, which 100% could happen. Or they shut up because it's a business. And they could be like, listen, these are our rules. Either take it or leave it. But, deal with it. Or, they do pull their funding. But then let's go that route. And let's say they do just cave and give them everything they want. Do you really, really think it's going to stop? I don't think it will. And it's a snake eating its own tail at this point, where if you're willing to go as depraved as it's getting online, you're now hurting the sport. And you're blaming forward-facing sonar for the things that you're saying online, which is the most wild thing. Because it's like being in a part of a homeowners association, complaining that person's house is pink. So when they go on vacation, you burn it to the ground and then fine them for littering. And then they're like, well, you burnt my house to the ground. It's like, no, I didn't burn your house to the ground. I did it because your house was pink. It's not my fault. It's because of what you did. And the fact that we're blaming forward-facing sonar for people's just unhinged comments to kids and what people are willing to do. It's wild, man. Because you saw this in other things, but never did I think it would have gotten this bad here in our industry. But it is what it is. Truly, I just wish that you could just have one league for each person. Be damned. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think even if Major League Fishing came out and said, hey, listen, we're going to let it for every quarter, great. And then Bassmaster goes out and says, hey, we're going to limit it completely, like the NPFL. Would it be enough? I don't think so. Because the NPFL already proved it. They went no scope. And the people, the voices are saying, like, nope, that's not enough. Bassmaster needs to do it too. If Bassmaster did it, be like, nope, that's not enough. We need NPFL to do it. That's not enough. We need the state's legislator to ban it all everywhere. And it's just such a weird witch hunt where it's just, again, it broke people's brains, man, to the point that they're getting very authoritarian, where they're going to break into your, like, I don't know, your personal life and everything like they're doing. It's weird. It's really weird. It's sad. I don't know. This was a therapy session for me too, because I don't know. I just leave people alone. Let people fish the way they want to fish, especially if it's just for fun. Like, that to me is where it's getting really, that's, I think, the line in my mind that got crossed, when if people are just out there having fun fishing, and now you're going to shame them and all that other stuff. That just feels like a weird, I don't know, invasion of privacy. I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. 100%, if you want to term an organization that's no scope, go for it. Kill it. Hope it does well. But yeah, just seeing this too much with corporate America and other stuff, where you get a bunch of people online that will say they're pro freedom and stuff, but then they're on the keyboards asking for everyone else to bow to them. So it's a little I don't know, frustrating, but we'll see. Did have a question about, yeah. So the other thing is, guys, I'll be on the Bass and Beer Radio tonight as well. I'll be on Bass and Beer Radio tonight as well. I don't know when we're starting, probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. We'll be going live there, talking about stuff like what's going on at Lake Anna. You guys saw there, the looks like they're trying to spray all the grass. So we'll see what happens there with the diaquat spraying, or they're going to do grass carp. I am not commenting on any of those threads right now, since let these people fast. I had somebody ask, like, why I'm not commenting on all those on that thread with the spraying at Lake Anna. Like, what's the point? I say that's not true, and somebody says it is. The end, and we just argue in the comment section, pushing it in the algorithm even more. It doesn't do anything. And that's something else people don't understand, like, for how social media works. Is like, the more you comment, the more the algorithm pushes it, whether right, wrong, and different. So you saying that's BS, that just helps the post go viral. So if you misspell something that's blatant on a post, and if everybody in the comment section tries to correct the spelling, you just help that guy make that post go viral, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so on a lot of that stuff, I just try to, like, ghost it, not try to comment too much. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see with the diaquat spraying. We just did an episode about that about 2 weeks ago, I think, talking about what's going on in Connecticut with them overspraying in a couple of lakes that had some severe, like, now, granted, I will say this, that was crazy how much they oversprayed up there at some of those lakes, to the point I think there was more diaquat than there was regular H2O in the water. But it's not harmless. It is dangerous, especially the amount of dosage you use. And I don't know the answer, though. And that's the thing, is, like, I think the conversation with SAV and Hydrilla, there's a couple of conversations. And if you guys have something you want to talk about specifically, let me know. But should it be managed? Absolutely. SAV should be managed. The lake is multifaceted. It's a public resource. Blah, blah, blah. It should be managed. The conversation is not about managing it in a ethical way. It's all about getting rid of it completely, nuking the lake completely. And you're seeing what's going on at Lake Gunnersville right now, where it's a much bigger lake than Lake Anna. I agree with that, 100%. But it's the fact that, again, if you completely nuke the lake and you try to turn it into a swimming pool, it will always have negative consequences, because when mankind tries to play God like this, we made a goddamn Jurassic Park 1 about this shit, and it was quite literally proven that you can't play God. It goes out of hand. But we keep trying to play God with our lakes and stuff and turn them into an aquarium. And when you do that, you get all these different bacteria outbreaks. You get red tide in certain estuaries. If you overspray, you kill bald eagles, which happened back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, I believe. Bruce can catch me on that, because of pesticide spraying, not herbicide spraying, I believe. But you're seeing this with ospreys now, that potentially diaquat spraying, it could be hurting the osprey populations in the Chesapeake Bay because of overspraying in certain areas. But there's no education out there about that. 70s. Thank you, BCal. 70s. And that was yeah, it was pesticide spraying, I believe, is what did that for the eagles. But again, so if we're doing a different type of spraying that's hurting a different type of bird of prey, it's just, again, history repeats itself, which we're seeing on social media right now with everything. So it sucks. And I'm mad at the homeowners and a lot of these people, because a lot of them, if they truly thought this was going to kill the environment and they believe that, they probably wouldn't want to do it, because that would make you evil. That's like saying, like, yeah, I agree that if we do this, it'll kill the dolphins, and I want to do it anyway. Okay, you're a sociopath. A lot of these people just don't understand that. And I thought the interesting tell in that article was when they said property value, which, again, I don't know why that was like the ending trailing thought there, when we know, like, that's the real reason. It's all about property value and all that stuff. And they keep saying about it hurts the fish population. Okay, let's take that argument. Let's say that argument is correct. Why aren't the fishermen complaining then? Which, again, I was on the debate team in college, family of lawyers and all that stuff. So you try to understand people's arguments and stuff and rationalize it. And if you're saying, like, the fishing is dying at the lake based on what the article said, well, why aren't there a lot more fishermen complaining? There's not. Why? Because the fishing lake is pretty damn good right now. So that's not true. I can throw out that piece of the argument. The argument that makes the most sense to me is you're saying, like, it's hurting our property value. You can't use the lake because if you're from upstate New York, which is probably where some of these people own a home, you don't like it. Fair enough. Let's keep with that argument. Then how do we manage it together? And this is the big kick in the nuts when it comes to grass and SAV. And this is the truth. There's not a great way to handle it at this point. There's not a silver bullet. All the ways that you can handle SAV and control it just suck. Diaquat spraying. Apparently up in Connecticut, based on the conversation I had, there is multiple people who had their dogs die because they just went swimming off the dock, came back in, hour later dropped dead because they oversprayed the lake. And they got a little bit of it in their mouth, dropped dead. Kids were getting sick. Fish died. It was terrible. Diaquat spraying probably leads to cancer. It's owned by Chinese companies. Probably not the healthiest thing. So let's just say diaquat spraying, and you could say, like, Tom, it's a fabrication, over-exaggeration, or it's a unique case. It's an extreme outlier. Fair enough. But we could also, I wouldn't be shocked in 10, 15 years if they tell us diaquat leads to cancer, because, they told us asbestos was great 30, 40 years ago, and now it's a whoopsie-daisy. So could also see a ton of lawsuits coming down the pipe in 30 to 40 years on that. So there's that with the diaquat spraying. It's cheap, probably will kill your pets and your kids, but that'll be down the road. We don't care about that. Grass carp. Grass carp are absolutely, they're terrible because you're dropping an animal into your lake. It's like letting go a herd of goats in your backyard on your farm. And you're like, I just want them to eat the bad shit. Great. The goats will eat the bad shit. And then once they're done with that, they'll eat your lawn. They'll eat your crops. They'll just keep moving. And depending on their metabolism, because that's not a complete science, they will keep eating and eating and eating and eating until there's absolutely nothing left. And then they'll start eating other things. They will eat small invertebrates. They'll try to eat small fish. They will also, there's a correlation, not complete science yet, that they will destroy water willow and lily pads. They will eat all that once their main food is gone. They are horrible for the environment, absolutely horrible. And it's crazy when they say like, okay, yeah, but it's okay. We made them infertile. That's great. But when they live for as long as they do and they eat as much as they do, it doesn't matter. They nuke a lake. In the early years of Lake Anna, when there was this last big boom in hydrilla, they overstocked it with grass carp. And it took up until 4 or 5 years ago for those grass carp not only to die off from the 90s, it took up until a few years ago for that to get settled and for the lake to heal, to have the grass come back. Because you have to understand, when grass comes back, that's a good thing, not a bad thing, because it talks about water quality. The quality of the water has to be good enough for grass to want to take hold. The sediment has to be just right. The soil has to be just right for the SAV to take hold. And people don't mention that. And so if you have grass that grows in Bugs Island, Lake Norman, Smith Mountain Lake, Lake Anna, places that it's decimated, let's just say it all sprouts up at all those places at the same time. That's a positive in the sense that means the water quality in the sediment is getting back to the point where it's healing back, so it'll actually want to grow again. People don't want to have these conversations like that. Why? Well, because grass carp is just bad, diaquat spraying is bad, and mechanical harvesting. What do you think about mechanical harvesting? Well, it's not bad, it's just time consuming, and it does mulch the water up. Wherever you mow, because what you're doing is you're mowing, it's going to kill all the vertebrates, the little fish. It's also time consuming and a little bit more expensive. Honestly, a combination of mechanical harvesting, pellets, not diaquat, but pellets, and drawdowns, winter drawdowns, where you lower the water level and then you raise it up. Those three things right now are the best we got. The only other thing you could possibly do, talking to a guy that runs smaller bodies of water, is you can place mats on the ground around the dock, mats on the lake bed to keep grass from growing, and you can create avenues and channels that way. Besides that, there's no silver bullet to force grass to grow in certain areas. Because let's be honest, if there was a way to say the bottom half of the lake, there is no grass, but the top half we can leave it and we can have that control, I could be wrong. And if I am, I'm just an idiot on the internet. You let me know. That would have been done by now. There's not. There's not a good way to control it, and there's not a good way to make it grow. I had on the St. John's River group that's trying their best to get SAV to grow back on the St. John's River. After that was oversprayed to death and hurricanes hit it, a lot of bad things. And it's a fight. They're trying their best, throwing millions of dollars to try to get the St. John's River back. And it's taking a long, hard time. So it's such a weird thing that in 2025, with all of our scientists and money, we don't know how to make grass in the water grow consistently, and we don't know how to control it consistently. So all of it comes down to educating people about this stuff, having papers, documents to talk to them about it, and then get to the gritty truth is there a way to manage it so everyone's happy? And I don't know that there is. And I love fishing, but I'm not going to be somebody that says like our constituent base is the most financially imposing on a lake. When you have homeowners associations and homes on Lake Anna that are like what, $5 to $10 million, dude, that's a shit ton of money. That's a shit ton of money that they have to deal with. There's a train going by that's probably going to make a shit ton of noise, by the way. So I might be muting you guys in a split second. But yeah, I don't know what can be done with that. I really don't. Big old train. I got B-Cal. B-Cal says homeowners only care about their property, not the lake. 100%. Which I kind of say, I mean, it's their point. Like, they put a lot of money into that, and you don't even know if it's their home or if it's owned by BlackRock or just like a company. You know, there are some big ass houses on Lake Anna that no one lives in. It's just rented out as an Airbnb, corporate retreat. Which again, it's like, I'm not going to shit on them for that. Like, it is. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how you fight that. Except maybe I've always thought the best alternative would be lily pads. Lily pads that bloom, that have flowers and stuff. So they're oriental, they look good. Homeowners can take pictures with that shit and think it looks really nice on Instagram. But it also gives some of the benefits that SAV does, which is it's a place to harbor vertebrates, protect small bait fish, gives bluegill a really great home, and it keeps bass shallow. And maybe a mass lily pad stocking on Lake Anna, Smith Mountain Lake, Bugs Island, places like that, having massive lily pad fields, maybe that would be the idea to do. They're a lot easier to kind of control compared to hydrilla and milfoil, but it still gives you kind of the benefits that they have. I don't know. But yeah, with the forward-facing sonar stuff, I'm just kind of burnt out on it. I really am. It's just sad. Get a company that can pull it out is the answer around the, yeah, exactly. But they don't want to pay for that too. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to pay for it, for better or worse. Which again, I don't know. What is the answer there? Hold on one second, guys. I'm turning on my internet. That way I have Wi-Fi when I get on down the road. Get a company that can pull it out. Answer. Yep, got that. Decal. Just go fishing. Yeah, just go fishing. Yeah, the forward-facing sonar debate, though, guys, is just getting kind of, I don't know. I'm getting a little burnt out on it. Which, you know, in my libertarian mindset, what I would like to see happen is just have one league for each person. One league for each person. And then you go fish where you want to fish. We got Big Smalley 99. Thomas, are you fishing the remaining Bass Nation tournament? I am fishing. Is that the one that's associated with NVKBA? Because I'm fishing the NVKBA Upper Potomac River one, yeah. So if that's the case, then yeah, I'm fishing the Bass Nation. I was gonna fish the Chickahominy Lake and the Chickahominy River Bass Nation event. I was scheduled to do that. I was gonna do that, and then because I'm in between jobs right now, financially I just couldn't make that work, which was definitely a problem. And Big Small, yes, Big Small 899. I am gonna fish that. 100%, I'm gonna fish that, which is in a couple of weeks, I believe. And then I'll be getting. I don't even know if I'm gonna pre-fish that one. This year with losing the job and everything, fishing is definitely more about fun than trying to win right now. And we'll make next year the year that I try to make a big run at everything, I guess. Hopefully, we'll see. This year is more about just having fun, honestly. Life gets kind of put in perspective that way when you have personal events happen. And maybe that's why. Maybe I'm just getting soft when it comes to forward-facing sonar and stuff like that. Which, yeah, maybe that's the case. I'm just old and soft. But I'm going to try to get somebody on to do a Upper Potomac River fishing report type of deal. I also got to check to see what the boundaries are for that thing. Should be fun. I am pleased with the Upper Potomac. I really am. Like, the fact that it kind of, quote unquote, outfished the Susquehanna this year when it came to the inches it took to win. Like, that really was surprising to me in a good way. To see one of my home bodies water do so well. I got BCal. That's the truth. You have to always have fun, even when doing tournaments. Yeah. BCal. Like, that's the thing is, having my wife's puppy almost died. I almost killed. It feels like I almost killed it. And then losing my job. It's kind of like, you know what? It's just a stupid kayak tournament. It's a stupid bad tournament. It's not life or death. It's really not. So I know that's just really sappy opinion, but it is what it is. But we're back in a drought in our area, which is fun. It felt like for the first 3 months, like April, May, and June, it never stopped raining. And now it's like, yeah, we're drought again. It's like, well, maybe a drought is just a natural cyclical cycle that the environment goes through, and we got to stop complaining about it because it's just what it does. It goes through peaks and valleys. It'll be clean. It'll be clear. It'll be low. It'll be great for kayak fishing. Be interesting to see where these fish get pushed around and stuff on the old Upper Potomac. I also have an episode dropping next week with the great individual who won the Virginia Bass Nation event on Chick Lake and Chickahominy River. I have that pre-recorded, and that's coming out next week. I think it is. That's going to be coming out. So that'll be fun. It was a great episode. Really cool guy. Really, really cool guy as well. Yeah, dude, we got so many cool places to fish. I know in 2 weeks, I think, maybe it's a week and a half, I'm going to be heading down to the Norfolk area, Virginia, Chesapeake Bay, Virginia Beach. I just had a stroke. Virginia Beach with my wife's family. And hopefully I'll take the boat maybe, and we'll have some fun down there with that. That's the truth. Health issues prove that. Droughts are normal. They have been around here forever. Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about that on a couple of shows. I think we talked about that with Billy Coles on Monday Night Live, where it just is fascinating. Things go through these cyclical cycles where we had so much rain at a certain time of year. The topwater bite, it just seems, generally speaking, throughout the region, never got hot like it usually does, which was fascinating. And the minnow bite wasn't as good as it usually is. It was a better shallow bite, generally speaking. Spinnerbait was hot for a lot of people. So, yeah, these stupid fish, man, they think, they learn, they adapt to their environment. And it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's just not, and never will be. It just never will be that you're going to get them completely figured out. And if you get them completely figured out, is that even what you want? Like, that seems like it'd be boring as shit. Just to get it all figured out and you can get there and catch 25 pounds. Like, I wouldn't want to fish anymore. Why would you? So, I don't know. And then you got, I never even talked about this. So, yeah, last week we had the Battle of Five Lakes #2. Just had Dave Thompson on yesterday's upload talking about his win there. You got to fish Burke Lake, Occoquan Reservoir, Lake Frederick, Sleeters, and Lake Brittle. God bless the couple of people that went to Lake Brittle. Neat little lake. I just think it needs to be restocked or something. Definitely needs to be restocked for sure. I went to Sleeters Lake. I mean, again, I grew up there, meat and potatoes. I can sleep at my parents' house, who lives near Woodgrove High School, which is like 8 minutes away from the lake. I can sleep there, get up like 5 minutes beforehand, head on over to the lake. It's a beautiful little lake. I have history there. And spoilers, I have live scope on my boat, but I never got it on my kayak. So I guess I'm just one of them poor saps that just doesn't have the scope. So Sleeters, because I have history there and kind of know how everything lays out and stuff, I don't need live scope to be effective there. Plus, there's a lot of grass. It's a grass fishery, which definitely I do think is a little bit of a neutralizer for scope. Not 100%, but a little bit of a neutralizer. So I went there. I had one of the best buzzbait bites I've had in a long ass time. And when you're fishing a lake like that, which is less than 100 acres, 106, something like that, small lake, and you have the kayak competitors plus just rec anglers that go to that place, that's the type of place where you have to adopt that Brian Thrift style of fishing, where you need to, in the morning, try to hit as many spots first as possible before the bite really starts slowing down. It's just like I interpret it like deer hunting when you're hunting public property or public land. My apology. You know, that first day of hunting is probably good, but by week 2, week 3, those deer feel you. And that is what happens, I think, on some of these tinier lakes in microcosm when it comes on Saturday, is as everyone rotates around that lake and just blends it up, doing just rotations, those fish feel that pressure, and you're going to lose that quick bite. And so what I did is I adopted a sense of urgency about hitting as many spots as humanly possible. And I was lucky that the buzzbait bite was on, and it was, I think it's that Mega Bass buzzbait. I don't have it on me right now, and I'll take a picture of it for my Patreon supporters, and I'll send all that stuff to you. As always, guys, Patreon supporters, I'll take a picture of all the baits and send them to you that I caught them on. But yeah, it's just dirt water. It's so cool on a seeing different lakes and how fish set up, because it is like some lakes, man, they're just different. And Sleeter's Lake, there's a population of fish that early in the morning, you would think there was no way a bass that's 15, 18 inches could be there, because it's just there's no water. You are quite literally throwing your bait on the land. And so by about the time the tournament opens up, which I think is like 6:30, 7 o'clock, by the time it opens up till about the time the sun really starts to hit the lake, it was on, and I caught four or five bass. Half of them were keepers, the other half weren't keepers, or they were right at the length line, and I just tossed them back. Which to me, I just was shocked. I was not expecting that good of a buzzbait bite to last that long. Probably kept the buzzbait bite a little too long. If I'm honest, I probably should have switched to my other bait, which is just a weightless swim bait, something that's uber easy to skip underneath low-hanging trees. You can throw it on grass mats. It's an uber versatile bait. I'm liking that in a lot of situations more than I like a frog right now, just because if I'm fishing a grass, like there's a grass patch right next to a dock or a laydown or something like that, a low-hanging tree, I can throw it on top of the grass mat and pull it out. I can skip it underneath the dock and swim it back, and then I can skip it underneath that low-hanging tree and back in. I can hit all three things with one bait. Versus the frog, I mean, yes, you can work it under all three as a topwater thing, but I really think when they see it swim underneath the water, I think your hookup percentage is better. I don't know. I have confidence in that right now. I really do. But I didn't switch. I should have switched that, but I didn't. I also didn't fish more of the juicy areas because I was assuming, which you know what they say about assuming, it makes you an ass out of you and me. But I assumed that certain places would get more pressure than they did, and I should have gone there earlier in the day. It probably would have helped out. But then after I got that big flurry, caught one on the swim bait, I switched to my old trusty, boring old swim jig that I have used, and I used that in the Hidden Gems episode that went viral about Sleeter's Lake. Same setup, targeting grass, just targeting grass, slowly just milking that thing over every piece of grass humanly possible. Caught some really nice fish. I was one 18-incher away, which logically every angler can say that, but I was one 18-incher away from being in the top 15, top 10, which it just never happened. Which, you know, that's fishing. What are you gonna do? I got a limit. That's all that matters. With kind of fishing that place, I know one of the guys caught a monster out of Sleeters, which was kind of cool to see. I mean, Sleeters is a great lake. It's a fun little lake. Absolutely, for sure. Absolutely love that place. But yeah, so that was the tournament. I don't know, 22. I drowned at the Shenandoah River. Almost killed myself doing that. That was stupid. So I got a 0 on that one. And then the Rappahannock tournament was rescheduled, which it was smartly rescheduled. And I couldn't go to that one. So my season's dead in the water, honestly. So I'm just vibing. I'm just here for fun at this point, you know. With everything else going on in life in the world, I'm here to vibe with it all. But the upper Potomac will be interesting for sure. I think I've caught most of my fish this year on stupid spinnerbait and swim jig, which is hilarious because last year a lot of it was, at least up where I am in Maryland, it gets super duper clear, and you have to use really finessey tactics to catch them. Didn't have to do it so far this year, which has been fun. Which has been a lot of fun to see. That you have that power fishy bite lasting so much longer compared to other years. Which, again, can't mean potato fishing is always fun. It's always here to stay. It's always here to stay. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We got B Cow that says crankbaits got my biggest yesterday. Yeah, crankbaits are really good right now. It'll be interesting once we see what kind of fall turnover we get this year, because I don't know if we're going to have it. Like last year, we had an Indian summer, and it felt like it was hot all the way until like October. And now it's been really cool. And I don't know if we're going to get another heat spike up or what with all the hurricanes coming in this season. I have no idea what this fall is going to be like, but we'll find out. I know for a lot of my Patreon members, which again, thank you, by the way, for everything you guys do to support the show. We got a couple more days left in the tournament, and hopefully Tourney X shut off the standings. Probably should check that, because knowing technology, it probably did not shut off the standings like I asked it to. So I'll be shutting them off manually tonight when I finally get back to the house, so that we have a little bit of surprise for that. So, and then I gotta call the plaque company if I don't get a message today, because we're supposed to get the plaques. They should have been shipped by now. Gotta ask them. I need to find another manufacturer for the plaques, honestly. That way we get them here a little bit quicker. But anyway, so that's all doing good. I'm rambling like an idiot right now. So yeah, I'm going to be on the Bass and Beer radio in a couple of hours. I believe we're trying for 7 to 8:30, I believe. BCAS is still showing the standings. God damn it. And I'm supposed to be the generation that's good with technology. I am messing up. My God. Can't get my phone to work for the live stream, and I can't get the stupid Tourney X to do its thing. Good God. All right. Fantastic. All right. Well, is there any other questions I can get answered for you guys before I sign off and get this thing done for my wife? Let's see. Any questions that I missed? Scrolling. What's your swim jig setup? My swim jig depends